My name is Valeria, and for years I thought the most important thing in life was family. I grew up believing that my older sister, Camila, was my best friend, my confidant, my role model. But I never imagined that one day she would be capable of betraying me in the most vile way possible. When my mother passed away, the pain was immense, but what came next was even worse. Camila falsified documents, manipulated lawyers, and stole every last cent of the inheritance I was owed. I tried to resolve it amicably, but she mocked me. So I made a decision that would change our lives forever. I went public with it on national television. And believe me, I don't regret it. Camila and I grew up in a modest house, in a neighborhood where everyone knew each other by name. Our home was small, but full of love, or at least, that's what I thought back then. My mother was a hard-working, tireless woman who juggled to keep us afloat after our father abandoned us when I was just 5 years old. Camila, 5 years older than me, was always the exemplary daughter. She was the one who got good grades, the one who helped around the house, the one my mother used as an example whenever I made a mistake. And although it sometimes hurt me, I admired her deeply. I always thought that one day we could build something together, be those inseparable sisters you see in movies. The truth is, the family's financial situation was never easy. My mother worked double shifts as a nurse, and luxuries simply didn't exist. We ate just enough, wore what we could inherit or get secondhand, and vacations were a distant dream. But that didn't stop us. My mother, she raised us with values, taught us to fight for what was ours, to work hard. But there was something about Camila, something I didn't want to see. She was always ambitious, yes, but also controlling. From a young age, she liked to have the last word, to manipulate situations to appear as the hero, even if it meant making me look bad in front of Mom. Even so, after finishing high school, I trusted her. Camila went to study in another city, got a job as a paralegal, and started earning money. From time to time, she sent something to help out at home, and my mother always said, "That girl is going to get us out of poverty." For my part, I stayed with Mom, took care of her when she got sick, gave up opportunities to be by her side. And I never regretted it. For me, family always came first. What I didn't know was that for Camila, family was simply a tool, something to be used, squeezed, and discarded when it was no longer useful. When my mother passed away, I felt like my world was falling apart. I was by her side until her last breath, and that, for a while, gave me peace. I thought that, despite the pain, at least I'd have Camila to lean on. But I was wrong. In the days following the funeral, there was silence. Camila didn't answer calls, didn't respond to messages. And when she finally appeared, she did so coldly, as if nothing had happened. She said she was taking care of the paperwork and that I shouldn't worry about anything. At first, I trusted her. After all, she was the one with the legal experience, the one who knew how to handle these kinds of procedures. She told me the will was clear, that Mom had left everything to be divided between the two of us. She even hugged me, pretended to cry with me. But something didn't add up. Days went by, and I didn't receive any calls from lawyers, any documents to sign, nothing. Every time I asked, Camila would say, "I'm working on it, don't worry." "You don't have." I had to lift a finger. Until one day, a friend of my mom's, who worked at the neighborhood notary's office, said something that made my blood run cold. "Valeria, didn't you sign the renunciation of the inheritance?"
Resign? Me?
I immediately knew something was seriously wrong. I went to the notary's office and asked to see the documents. After much insistence and showing my ID, they let me see a copy of the supposed form. And there was my signature, but it wasn't mine. Camila had forged my signature. Not only that, she had submitted a manipulated power of attorney with altered information and had transferred all the properties and bank accounts into her name. Everything. Even the old apartment Mom had taken so much care of. I felt nauseous. My hands were shaking. It was as if my sister had taken off her mask right in front of me. I confronted her immediately. I called her and yelled at her, demanding an explanation. And you know what she did? She laughed. "You have no proof, Valeria. Everything's signed. If you want to waste your life on lawyers, go ahead. But you're going to lose." That was the final straw. At that moment, I knew this wasn't just a robbery. It was a betrayal, a stab in the heart, delivered by the person I trusted the most. That night, I couldn't sleep. Camila's mocking voice kept echoing in my head. She had stolen everything from me, and not just material possessions. She took away my peace of mind, my confidence, even my last memories of Mom. But what Camila didn't know is that I wasn't the same girl she used to control. The next day, I started gathering evidence. I went to the notary's office again and asked for certified copies of all the documents. I recorded the conversations I had with Mom's friend, took photos, scanned signatures, and consulted a lawyer who owed me a favor. He confirmed my suspicions: document forgery, misuse of powers of attorney, property fraud. It was a clear case, but complex. He warned me that fighting it legally could take years. And honestly, I didn't have the money or time for a court battle. So, I took another route. A more direct one. More public. I started looking for media outlets. It wasn't easy. Many didn't want to listen to me, or thought I was just another story of family feuds. Until I found a local TV show that had a citizen complaint section. I sent them a detailed email with dates, attached documents, and a summary of everything Camila had done. Less than 24 hours later, they called me. They were shocked by the level of evidence, the cold-heartedness with which my sister had carried everything out. They offered me the opportunity to tell my story. In front of cameras. With my face. My real name. They warned me it was a risk, but at that point, fear no longer held me back. They prepared the segment for a week. They interviewed me several times. They even put me in touch with an expert graphologist who confirmed the signature on the document wasn't mine. And they recorded everything. From my testimony to images of the actual will, the stolen assets, and the pattern of legal manipulation. I was ready. I wasn't looking for revenge. I was looking for justice. And if Camila had dared to expose me as naive, now I was going to show the world who she was. In fact, the day arrived. At 7 p.m., the program aired. I was alone in my living room, holding the remote, trembling. Not out of fear, but from the intensity of the moment. In a matter of seconds, millions of people would be watching my story. And so it was. The host opened the segment with a sentence that made my skin crawl. Today you will learn how a family betrayal can destroy everything, even a mother's legacy. My face appeared on the screen. My voice, shaky but firm, recounted step by step how Camila had manipulated the documents, forged my signature, and kept everything Mom left us. They showed the evidence. The legal documents. The handwriting analysis. They also exposed her face, her social media accounts, and her history of suspicious financial transactions. The impact was immediate. The program went viral on social media. Within hours, there were thousands of comments. Some couldn't believe a sister could do that. Others shared similar stories. But most supported me. They called me brave. They told me I was fair. And then the unexpected happened. Aunts, cousins, family, friends, they all started writing. They apologized for having believed in Camila. They confessed that she had manipulated them too, that she had told them a completely different story, that I didn't want any of the inheritance, that I was mentally unstable, that I had signed everything voluntarily. Even my father, whom I hadn't spoken to in years, called me.
Crying.
He said, "I never thought Camila would go this far. I failed you by not seeing you sooner." And Camila disappeared. She closed her social media, stopped answering calls. Some say she left town. Others, that she's looking for lawyers. But the damage was done. Her public image was destroyed. And for the first time in a long time, I slept peacefully. After the scandal, my life changed. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't as if all the pain disappeared suddenly. But something inside me transformed. I no longer felt like a victim. For the first time in years, I felt free. With the support of the audience and people who came back into my life after seeing the truth, I was able to rebuild some of what Camila tried to destroy. A lawyer contacted me after the show and offered me free legal help. With him, we began the process of recovering what belongs to me. It hasn't been easy. There are still legal battles ahead. But I'm no longer alone.
My family changed.
Some remained distant, uncomfortable with the public exposure. Others, however, reached out with more honesty. My Aunt Elena invited me to her house for the first time in years. My cousins wrote me heartfelt messages. The most important thing is that now I choose who to keep close to me. Camila didn't appear again. She didn't apologize. She didn't try to clear her name. Perhaps she believed that silence was better than facing his actions. And although for a long time I dreamed of hearing an "I'm sorry" from his mouth, today I understand that I don't need that to move forward. Sometimes, justice isn't found in a court of law, but in recovering your voice, your peace, and your truth. And that, Camila, is the part of my inheritance you could never steal from me.